Welcome to my second ever video. This time I thought I'd do more of a tutorial. Hopefully I won't mumble as much as I did the first time. The systems I want to show you today, as the title suggests, is just a simple counting system. It is something that I have developed myself, and hopefully when I show you what I've done, you can see with some clever editing some of the screenshots I'll put in there just to show you where it started to where it got to now. The first thing I would like to show you today is the bud switch. I'm not too sure how many of you know what a bud switch is. It's a good little piece of redstone tech to be using. The way it works, and I'll just give you a quick overview of that. So it is just that square. The piston holds a block which is just empty, goes to repeater, wire down to a second repeater, which I tick to 4 just to help catch that bit of pulse going through, which then turns the torch off. And what happens when this pretty much runs together is when you put a block pretty much on any face of the piston, and I'll put a sand block here to show you, it'll send a bit of electricity coming down the wire there. I'm not really too sure what I would call that. Electricity, pulse, whatever you want to call it. So that's pretty much the way it works. This is what I use for my token system in a lot of my games. Very straightforward. So now to the point system. So it is basically just a few RS all hooked up together with a simple lock circuit, and I'll show you what I mean. So you have 3 torches here and 1 input here. So you just click it once and you get the first torch that lights up. Click it again, you get the second torch that lights up, and you click it a third time, you get a third torch that lights up. Now this is just 3 RS or RSSs all linked together. The way it works, with a very simple explanation, I figured this might come in handy, is this is the first part of the circuit you can see here. It's just a converter going into a converter, which is what you see here. And when a signal goes through, it goes through to the other side. Now, if the signal on top of the last converter is, well, being charged by the torch, no signal can go through. So that's basically how a lock works. I mean, it's just better than using a piston. I find pistons very laggy. The second part of the mechanism, or the system, is just this RS here. So it's basically the same as this original RS that I started using. This was one that I came up with myself after fiddling with a few different ideas. So I have seen quite a few different designs. I figure by now everyone has their own ways, their own ideas, so you just go with whatever works. So as you can see, it's just a one-way circuit. When you flick it, it can't be changed from the same signal. Same happens with this one. Signal comes in and it can't be changed again. Has to be changed from a second. Now if we go back to the first point system, when I click this wooden button here, it just goes to those top torches up there, which reset the 3 RS here. So if I click it, the system resets itself. Now I'll just stop up here so you can just see everything that's connected together. So you don't really need a lock on the first one you want to work. It's not really necessary. The only ones you do need it for are the ones you don't want to fire off straight away. So I'll just stop here. And I'll also try to, like I said, include some of those snapshots right about now, so you can see that this design here is a 3-point system. Click the button 3 times, you get 3 points, and it is only about 7 blocks long. As you'll see with the other ones, or saw at this point with the other ones, they were a lot longer. Okay, so the way it works is the signal will go through down to the first RS, which will turn this torch on and turn the top power source off, also sending a signal to the first torch. At the same time, it will turn this lock torch off, allowing a signal to come through to the second RS the second time we press the button. Now, just to show you a more vivid example, if we get a bit of redstone and connect from there to our bud switch, and we place a block, ta-da! You got a point! So straight away you can think of 100 different ways to use this. I mean, it's just a very simple point counting system. I mean, I use this so much in my circuits, and 2 of the others I'll show you here. So once again, you can input another token, or sorry, a sand block, and you get 2 points. And just to give an example, you've just dodged past your friend, you're running, you're going, he shoots, he scores, he wins! As you can see, it's very fast, very straightforward. And yeah, that's the point counting system. With some simple adjusting, like adding these 2 blocks here, which when this one goes off, the first torch goes on. When the second one turns off, this torch will light up, turning your first torch off and turning your second one on. Now I'll show you what I mean by that. It's just a very simple 2-block add to the system, but you get a very different result. So click once. Now instead of it acting like a point system, you now have a select system. So you can imagine, this for a vending machine, you've got like, redstone here, a torch here, a ladder here, and just by clicking the button you can cycle through. And once again, the reset just comes down and across to these torches, which turns the RS back to, well, I suppose original position is the best way to put it. So we push our button and it changes back. Now this last one was just to show an example. Also, it came in handy with one of my other circuits, Chicken Hunter. If you've watched one of my other videos, it's worth checking out. A little side note, these 2 circuits here and this one here are entirely what I run pretty much all of my systems off. They're very easy to use once you know how, and I find them just perfect for what I need. So just to show off what it can do, this is just a secondary hookup. So it's still from this lever will flow to the same outputs or inputs, so it will still travel down to the first RS and change it, but this time you have a secondary signal traveling to the lock circuits, which are still running off the first and second RS. So all that will happen this time is the lever will send a pulse, well, a full signal, but this time instead of turning all the lights on because it's remaining on, the signal on top has caught the lights, or caught the torches, and stopped them from firing. So you can flick it back up, and nothing will happen. This time you can press a button, and it will still change the signal, but no door has opened yet, which is the point of this circuit. It still would have flicked over to the second if you pulled the lever, and I'll show you if you pull it again. It'll change over to the third light, or torch, but this time the door is open. That was just simply hooked up by a secondary output. So if we reset this quickly, because I tend to mumble, we can pull the lever once, pull it twice, and then on the third occasion the door will open. So really, you can use your imagination for these. They work for a number of different circuits, and they're just really good fun to use. I spent ages looking for something really easy to use, just something fun to build with that allowed me to do a lot more than what I already was doing. The only solution I came across was a lot of binary. Decided to go against it and just start building my own sort of stuff. So once again, here is the point counting system. It's very easy, very straightforward. I mean, if you have any questions on how to build it, just let me know. Oh, there was one other circuit I wanted to show you. It just helps you, well, pretty much flick any amount of information you want across circuits real easy. So by turning this one on, we get number 1. By turning this one on, we get 2 lights turning off. And all this is doing is, it's kind of like binary, I suppose. Difference being is wherever you place the torches, say this goes to pistons, doors, it really doesn't matter. You can change the amount of torches. I mean, you can hook them up to have just single torches, so the outcome will appear random. I have used this idea in a random generator. I hooked up about 10 of these, so every time you pressed a button, it went through one of the counting systems, and the outcome that came up on a board appeared random every time. And anytime I wanted to change that, I just removed all the torches and hooked them up to the different lines here. So as you can see, if we fire this one, all 3 light up, and they control these 3 torches here. So there we go, guys. It's just a few simple circuits. Once again, they're not that hard to build once you have gone through them once. I do suggest giving them a go. They are a lot of fun to use once you get them going. So, yeah. So I decided to add a secondary part to this video, just to show a few little things that I have discovered recently. I don't know how many other YouTubers out there are doing the same thing. I'm sure there's a few similar type deals out there, but the first I wanted to show was this one here. It's just a picture being held up by gates. I'm not going to show you how to do that, mostly because I want you to try to figure it out for yourself. It was fun once I figured out how. It's just a fun little thing to do. Second bit of fun, I suppose, is another picture to the wall. Also, you can put a picture here, or you can put one of our new picture frames in there as well, and the circuit will still work. So right now the circuit is locking it, and if we change it, we can then walk through it. Now the only thing behind this is a piston and a wooden post, and yeah, that's all it is. When it's standing up, because you can't jump over these when they're at normal level, you can't walk over them when they're at feet level, so because of that you can't actually walk through. So I figured that was just a really easy way to keep this, well, secret from having people walk through it all the time. It's your little secret, you can do what you want with it. Just a few little decoration tips, I suppose, if you like what you see. I'm not really too sure what that is, but it's there. This is a bud switch. It's the same system I showed you before, except this system actually runs off daytime and nighttime. So right now there's no grass on the block. When grass grows, it will trigger the bud switch, causing the piston to fire in. Now I can't remember exactly how it works. Flaming Bogan hooked it up for me, and I do thank him for that. But it works off, nighttime, daytime, grass grows during a certain time, and when that happens, the glass block will get pushed in front of the glass, controlling the water flow, which does play a key role in when the grass grows. It still confuses me when I try to think about it. But yeah, I'm glad I have it now. The use for this is if you're building a town or a city and you want an automated light system. This will trigger as soon as night comes out and when daytime starts. So it is an automatic changeover. So I will just stop here so you can see what's involved. This is just a piston pushing a glass block in and then retracting. The system you see here, which I'll give you a demonstration, is just a single RS that turns on with a button, and then by pressing the same button will turn off. So it's basically I wouldn't know the technical name for it. It's a T flip-flop without all the pistons. It just runs off torches. So if you just want to use a flip-flop, it works just as well. The signal runs straight off the back of the torch onto a converter. Yeah, that's how the bud switch works. Another bit of interesting side note. These don't tend to move very well or pop off the wall very well. So if you were to move the block, it would stay exactly where it is, and you can put something down there if you chose to, the chest. You could have it hooked up to the same system as the T flip-flop, or the what I call the repeating RS. So when you press the same button again, that retracts and that presses back in. So essentially it's just a very well hidden chest, or just a small idea I had. I mean, you could put any display items around just to distract people and have the chest one there just to be a bit cheeky. Oh, gotta turn that one off. So obviously you need some sort of system, but that's the idea behind it. It never pops off as long as there's something behind it. Another bit of fun, I suppose. Solid wall. There is no... Well, sorry, there is, excuse me, a block right here. So there is no travelling underneath. It is a solid wall, and if I put a boat right there, it will pop straight through the wall. It did not go under, it went straight through. You can test this yourself. I don't know if anyone else has figured that out. I suppose there must be a lot of people that have figured everything out by now, but you never know. Hopefully I've shown you something new. So you can place that, and also down there, and it just pops through. Ghost boat, I suppose, if you have a boat ride. Yeah, you can, like I showed you, put a redstone torch there as well. One thing I found a little bit, I suppose, interesting was I hooked something like this up. So when you turn it on, they're all, similar. It's just a little bit of interesting. If we remove that, see how that hovers? They don't disappear very quickly. Now, and we get a cart and a piece of track. We can make something interesting happen that I didn't know we could do. Carts, and then we destroy that. Now, I don't know if you saw, but it might have looked like the carts disappeared. What actually happened was, if we watch, it went into itself. Now, I don't know if you could come up with a useful function for that, but I found it interesting. It also led me to question what happens when you stack carts, obviously not on a track, which led me to this, which at first I thought was good. It was going to serve the purpose of an interesting door, until I realized a brand new function, which, once again, I don't check up on too many YouTube videos, so I'm not too sure, but it's just a very simple principle. The piston controls where you're allowed to stand. There's one on the base and one on the top. And believe it or not, guys, this is just an elevator. So you click it in, and then once you're in, you don't even need to move around. You just click the amount of carts there are. It'll take you straight to the top. When you're at the top, click the cart you're in, and it'll spit you out at the top. So yeah, there is a very simple elevator technique. Once again, I don't know if there are any other ideas like that. I'm sure someone, once again, many people must have figured that out, but I figured that out through just playing with some stupid, silly designs. Was there anything else? No, I guess that's it. Yeah, that was just a few little things I wanted to show at the end of that video. Hopefully, some of these lead you to new ideas or add some solutions to what you're looking for. Once again, if you're looking for any tutorials, any help on any of the projects you're working on, more than happy to give anyone a hand with that sort of stuff. I'm gonna hopefully learn to leave proper links in these things. Subscribe to the videos, guys. Hopefully I'll be adding quite a few more tutorials and just things to do. There's quite a few more things that I still have yet to show, so hopefully a few more videos yet to come. Yeah, Stoned Monkey out.